does not warrant being starting in Titanium for the reasons I just mentioned before. He has yet to demonstrate any sort of strong cadence play. Alright.
They're off with an immediate freeze scroll and an immediate mini-boss.
Yeah, very quick start here. Freeze scroll, probably gonna see that popped either in a boss room or just in a tricky mini boss room at the end of one of the zones. Ooh, and another purple chest. Purple chests usually have some pretty nice goodies. Here we're getting a scroll need. Oh, could throw that. And oh, Echaen, just popping it and getting a blood crossbow for his random weapon. Perhaps
so if you have no weapon,
tanking that Minotaur charge to boost himself up to max damage.
Interesting.
Interesting to see that PaperDoopliss did the exact same thing, though. Seems odd that neither of these racers would consider throwing their dagger and popping the scroll of need for glass rapier, but yeah. At any rate, yeah, there's that freeze scroll against King Konga. Doopliss not taking the blood crossbow, but finding a Shrine of Darkness that Echaen missed, which could be huge. Titanium Spear pick up for Echaen. We'll probably see Doopliss get the same thing, seeing as he's still on a basic dagger.
Titanium Spear being a perfectly serviceable weapon.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like Titanium Spear is kind of that borderline weapon, where it's like you're not super thrilled to find it in most cases, but it works. So you're kind of left, you know, in this dilemma for your next boss chest, where it's like, do you look for a better weapon, or oh, jeez, I'm not quite sure what's going on with the Echaen there. Just kind of poking the dire bat. Having the black skeleton take him down. It's pretty unfortunate.
We're also seeing on the many facets of the Shrine of Darkness, PaperDoopliss on 2-1, checked the shot that was just on the route. It's both up to 3 damage and quartz armor and a battle shovel.
Oh yeah, that's
amazing.
The sunglasses that Doopliss has with that Titanium Spear actually make it pretty viable. Consistent 3 damage spear, very strong. But this time around, Echaen going to find that Shrine of Darkness. You know, has been screen watching, saw presumably where Doopliss found it, or at least knew that it was somewhere on 1-2. So going out of his way to get it this time. Picking up scroll need. This time going to throw and get that glass rapier I was talking about. And immediately breaks it and is just going to reset. Ugh. Echaen off to a rocky start this race. Titanium Longsword better or worse than Spear, or about the same? I would say they're about the same. You know, Longsword's going to have that better clearing power because it can kill 2 enemies at once, but Spear has the ability to be thrown, which is useful in a lot of boss fights, so it about evens out, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the 2 damage spear isn't as good as a throw, but the improvement on Coral Reef is just so massive. I'm happy to have spear if it's still in the pool.
Yeah, alright. Okay, so this time Echaen, correctly getting the lunge attack on this Minotaur instead of just the standing attack, which is 1 damage short of killing the Minotaur. Going on to this Konga fight, probably going to see another use of the freeze scroll here to just lock Konga into place, and probably going to be wanting to get off this ring if possible. And it's a Ring of Peace, which is really nice. That said, all those kind of unnecessary early deaths he took, he's really playing from behind here, and immediately breaking his glass rapier to a skeleton here.
Meanwhile, Doopliss has found a food shop.
So Echaen, you know, kind of being fresh off the boat into Crystal Tier, just having promoted from Obsidian here, maybe a little bit nervous about the new placement, the changes of scenery, so to speak. because yeah, playing a little bit shaky compared to how we saw him playing in the promotional last weekend. And yeah, as Inknun mentioning in chat, Doopliss finding a food shop, boosting himself all the way up to 6 HP. With that quartz armor, it means, you know, he's going to be dying. It's going to take a minimum of 6 hits for him to die. So, probably going to be pretty safe from here on. The plus side for Echaen breaking his glass rapier is that he has this throw strat against Coral Rift too. Swapping to this Obsidian Broadsword here, pretty good weapon. And yeah, you know, between Frost and Peace, I feel like Peace is maybe the slightly better ring here, since Doopliss already has 3 damage. All that said, immediately taking the Blast Helm over the sunglasses, so down to 2. Now that Frost is going to be putting a little more work, but when you've already got high damage, Frost doesn't do too much. Because, you know, it doesn't really matter if you're freezing enemies, if they're already dying in 1 hit. Kind of getting hung up with the spear range here a little bit, but, yeah, gotta kill Fortissimo here. Echaen trying to rush through Deep Blues with a heart transplant, and, just taking tons of damage and going down. So, now the ball is 100% in PaperDoopliss's court here. There's no way Echaen is catching up without PaperDoopliss taking some sort of death here.
It's one of those common things I see frequently in races, is just when people get a hard transplant, they're not really used to really getting a lot of time out of it. So they end up taking a lot of damage on the boss or whatever, and either having to play slow afterwards or just dying like that.
Yeah, Goof in chat, who was knocked out by Echaen in the promotional tournament, lamenting that he didn't play like this against Goof. But yeah, Echaen definitely, considering that this is the top tier of racers, really not quite playing up to speed here. Maybe just needs to shake off some nerves. But we'll definitely need to change something up in the next race. Doopliss running into some problems on this Deadringer fight, taking a few hits, not quite lining up the final charge correctly, but after a little bit of run around, a couple hits, going to rectify that. Has a big stack of cookies and a heal spell already on top of a potion, so isn't too worried in the long run, but yeah, a bit of an interesting dilemma there on Doopliss's side. But on to Necrodancer. Dorian immediately taking a full heart hit from that Minotaur. That is the one thing he has to watch for in this situation. We've already seen today Dorian going down, 1 beat away from victory for I can't remember who that was. I think it might have been Flygluffet. Oh, and but very clean fight there. Some nice lures towards the end. Doopliss taking round 1. A little bit of shakiness, I think, from both racers at the start. Both of them kind of making the weird decision to just try and pop need for a random weapon instead of throwing the dagger and getting the guaranteed glass rapier, which is obviously a very strong speed item. Echaen realizing that on the reruns, but just having such a hard time keeping that rapier alive.
It's one of those odd turns. Like, need scrolls are usually used in races just to grab a potion to sustain. Like, you're taking a bit of damage, so you might blood fireball down, and then pop it for a potion. But early on, where you actually have a lot of ways you could use that need scroll, it's a little harder to choose or activate the right mode.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of things you can do with Scroll of Need. Obviously, pretty flexible. One of the most flexible items in the game. There's just so many applications for it. Yeah, that potion, as you mentioned, being one of the most common uses for it, just to get that extra safety. We also see a lot of uses on it to get armor, although that's a little bit risky because it can potentially pull a Karate Gi for you. Which, when you're looking for armor, it's usually not Karate Gi you want. Occasionally, you'll also see needs for a torch. And then less commonly, you'll see ones for shovel upgrades, or even more rarely for the full glass build. You almost never see that happen, though. All right, here we go. Bloodshot for Doopliss, or for Echaen rather. Excuse me. Getting an Infernal Torch and a Snowbro out of it. Doopliss presumably screen watching, just deciding that that's not worth his single bomb. Could really be the right call here if it ends up being a Coral Riff. Although that said, Snowbro does give some potential fast strats against Coral Riff in itself. So we'll see if that works out. Arena here. Titanium Spear and Freeze Spell. Interesting to see. Oh, Echaen, I think, just getting spooked, thinking that his Snowbro's about to run out, walking into a Minotaur. Could have just popped the Freeze Spell he just picked up. But, yeah, meanwhile, PaperDoopliss taking the Titanium Spear out of that arena. Echaen getting monkeyed on 1-1 and just going to reset immediately. And PaperDoopliss looking to finish up this Deep Blues fight. Got a bomb for the quick kill. Now, again, Titanium Spear, kind of that borderline weapon. We could see him go purple or black. But he's going to go purple here. Gets a ring of shielding. A little bit of extra safety, but generally not quite the ring you're looking for unless you're doing something like a glass build or on really low health.
I think I agree with the freeze pick from Echaen there on the arena, where you have some stuff, but you want to secure like a fast strat for your first boss, even though you don't have a bomb. And the freeze spell is.
Yeah, I think the freeze spell take is fine, but see, now we're seeing him skip the freeze altogether, which I don't know if I agree. Like, at the very least, if you don't want the freeze, you go in and take the Titanium Spear, because that's going to save you some time. And the fight's right here. Although it is 1-3, I suppose. So, could just be thinking that, Titanium Spear, nah, I'm going to want to replace that anyway. So, just push for it. Bombing himself, though, so he doesn't get anything at all. Echaen, you need to... brush yourself off. Get out of this weird funk you're in.
When you're in the sort of position where...
I think gonna kill this shopkeeper for a blood axe and chainmail. Not exactly the kill you want to have to be going for. But he desperately just needs to get something to start making up ground against Doopliss. Doopliss is getting a freeze scroll out of that boss chest, not super strong.
If that Titanium Spear is on 3 damage banks, that ring of might pick up somewhere along the line.
Okay, Echaen just going for intentional max damage strats here. Oh, and finding an urn immediately could take this rifle. Rifle is kind of a weird one to use. It's rare. It has some unique mechanics, like the recoil to it. But if you can use it well, it can potentially have some catch-up potential. That said, he immediately took a hit from a Banshee there. Banshees really pack a wall. At least that chainmail keeping him from getting one shot. But, still 2 hearts of damage there. May even need to take this Shrine of Risk, honestly, to try and get something to help catch him up a little more. Having trouble with this exit room, though. walking into some damage from a Tar Monster. Gonna get his Leprechaun here. I'm gonna move on. Death Metal's a pretty quick fight with the rifle here. You can just shoot him twice. The rifle does have piercing, so it's gonna hit through that shield.
Dupliss choosing to bomb his Shriner. That could have.
Yeah, that could have gone really poorly. I mean, did have the freeze scroll that he could have used, but didn't pop it. So, yeah, could have, did take some damage and could have really easily gotten trapped there.
It has survived and does have now a regen to start healing up, but does lose out on that 3 damage spear.
I think Echaen may be forgetting that he's killed his shop, bombing into his shop there on 31. Finding a ham though, which is nice. Probably gonna eat that and just keep the freeze scroll. Yeah, the important part with the rifle is knowing when you have to load for that high damage piercing shot. The recoil, as long as you don't have like heavy plate or lead boots, which will negate the recoil, is really going to slow you down a lot if you're just loading up a shot for every attack. Unfortunately, unlike the Blunderbuss, which has a 2 damage melee attack, the rifle only has a 1 damage melee attack, so it's pretty weak at close range. And you're very often going to be forced to just load up shots constantly. But, I mean, Echaen is making a push here. Doopliss on 4-2. Oh, Echaen kind of making a mistake against Fortissimo here, though, so not going to get his flawless here. Don't know that he really minds. Nice Warlock teleport there.
I would like to see the Gigantism scroll used from Echaen to one-shot the Fortissimo.
Okay, he's gonna swap to the Rapier Jaw build here. A little risky, but yeah, definitely gonna have better pushing power. Finding a glass axe immediately. Oh, getting Confusion Monkeyed. A little bit of a tricky situation here. There's lead boots in that shop that Doopliss saw. I don't know if we're gonna see him go for it. Oh, immediately breaking his glass armor. So, Echaen on very precarious position here. One hit will kill him at any point in this.
It has managed to close the gap to about a floor and a half.
And meanwhile, Doopliss kind of made the shift over to a little bit of a safer build. Still not too much protection, but does have that Ring of Regen. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. Echaen doesn't have shops anymore. He had to kill for the chainmail and blood axe. So no, there is no lead boots in that shop. So Doopliss finishing up Zone 4, going down to 5. Very quick push from Echaen though through Zone 4, pretty nicely done. It's just going to Gigantism here for a quick wade through the water here. I'm not quite sure I agree with that. He does have the damage to one-shot Coral Rift regardless, and Gigantism would have been a quick Necrodancer dig.
You would have skipped the time having to bomb him out.
Yeah, exactly. Oh! The axe is not a broadsword! It really isn't. It really isn't. So, Echaen, after showing such a strong pushback there, with little more than just a rifle, going down to, the old not a broadsword. And so, with that, it's up to Doopliss to just finish this out. I mean, Doopliss is still not in the best of positions, only on leather armor for protection, so could survive a Deadringer hit if this fight goes off the rails, but just barely. Regen at least keeping his health topped up, though. I think Regen really keeping him alive this run. Very clean Deadringer, though, so going to be going down to Necrodancer. Has the bombs ready. Full set of 5 bombs there, more than enough. A red dragon spawn there for Dupliss. A little bit scary. Probably wants to deal with that as soon as he can. There we go. Immediately getting a Dark Minotaur afterwards. A little less threatening, but still, you know, capable of dishing out some pretty serious damage. Dorian taking a heart and a half within the space of a couple beats there. Kind of bad teleport there. Probably going to get another mini-boss spawn here. It's a Blood Nightmare. Dispatching it pretty efficiently, though. Echaen bombing himself on Deep Blues again. Going for a throw bomb strat, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Dupliss has already won the race. Oh, geez, a rough race there.
Was able to make up for that early time loss, but one mistake.
Alright, so Dupliss already winning the set. Again, though, every point counts. So Echaen's gonna want to get sneak away with at least one win here. It is worth noting though that due to the way the crystal tier works, every racer in crystal tier will be in the promotional, but these points do count towards seeding. So with higher seeding, you're gonna be likely matching yourself up against a little bit less scary of opponents in the promotional. So you do really want those juicy loots. Race number 3 is underway. A little bit of a difference in routing here. PaperDoopliss finding an immediate trapdoor, but Echaen finding a Dagger of Phasing, which is a very strong weapon.
Both racers are going to notice the Shrine of Darkness. Going to get the full mapping. Will they check that shop? Probably not.
Yeah, the shopping's a bit of a backtrack, so I think we're just going to see both of them skip it. Yeah, Echaen just going straight down here. PaperDoopliss. Oh, kind of an unnecessary bomb there. Perfect setup for the Minotaur to just charge open the Bloodshot for you, but oh, and some plate armor in there. That Ring of Shadows, you know, put in the work and then get free plate armor.
Meanwhile, Dupliss headed down for a crypt room and found chainmail from a chest, but it's going to decide to go in for that plate mail anyway.
Gonna get the golden cutlass here since he missed the Dagger of Phasing back in 1-1.
And that's a lock chop there. That could be some spicy stuff in there.
The lock chop's often pretty good. So I got Coral Rift here, pretty easy with a throwable and a bomb. And Echaen probably going to be looking to get off of this Ring of Shadows at this point. It's just seemed to see that Echaen at some point took the Luminous Torch. Oftentimes the strat for Shrine of Darkness is to go torchless to keep the aggro at an absolute minimum, since Shrine of Darkness removes all the wall torches. Which means you're not going to unexpectedly be aggroing enemies from a long distance away, provided that you don't have a torch. But, you know, maybe just wanting to play it a little bit safe, keep that intel up. Unfortunately, a bit of an anti-synergy on Echaen's side. We got the Shopkeeper Familiar and the Ring of Gold. The Shopkeeper's heal effect only triggers when the Shopkeeper itself picks up gold. So, Ring of Gold, just automatically collecting it all the time, gonna make the piles that are available for the Shopkeeper to collect pretty scarce. Echaen kind of demonstrating maybe a little bit of uneasiness with the Dagger of Phasing. Not really pushing as hard as he could with it. Dagger of Phasing dealing phasing damage, which is unique to it, and also the Earth spell. Gonna let you just immediately attack things like wall mimics and tar monsters, etc., but taking time to back off from them as if fighting them normally. so Echaen bombing this. Probably going to be looking to get a replacement ring here. Yeah, Luck definitely the stronger choice here. Gonna re-enable that Shopkeeper Familiar to get a little bit of a health regen.
Doopliss taking some damage on his Deep Blue's fight, so is not going to get that Ring of Luck.
Oh yeah, it's still on that that Ring of Shadows, so not going to be able to see a whole lot. And not the strongest weapon. I mean, Cutlass, offers a lot of safety with its ability to parry enemy attacks, but it's still a 1 damage Cutlass. I mean, that said, using the fact that it's a gold Cutlass to get a gold kill on that Dire Bat there saved a little bit of time. Heavy glass armor and a Blood Rapier there, still 1 damage weapon. It's probably a slightly faster 1 damage weapon, but...
Wait. Would you take the heavy glass over the plate mail?
I don't think so. That seems like a weird choice to me. But Echaen, really nice, finding a pair of spiked ears, which is going to give +2 damage. Oh, just watch this Conga fight. With this 4 damage dagger of phasing, it's an absolute joke. In fact, he's kind of wasting time by killing the elementals. Could have just walked in, thrown the dagger, and been done.
Interesting. The spiked ears and the dagger is going to make it kind of awkward to use, because you have to keep your beat, so you can't easily get enemies into your dagger range. So you're gonna...
I don't think it should be too much of an issue, though. The dagger of phasing just being such a strong weapon. The thing he does have to be careful of is that that Dove Familiar just kind of teleporting away potential targets for the dagger unexpectedly. Has to be careful he doesn't walk into damage from a mini boss because of that. But yeah, we're seeing a very strong push now, though. 4 damage dagger of phasing, very strong. Little bit of extra armor there, that protection charm. So yeah, I think we might even see him just nice use of the cookie to iframe through the fire pig there. But we might see him just outright not even caring about that issue that you mentioned and just walking into damage, because he's got 2 hearts worth of defense and a potion on deck and some health regen available from the Shopkeeper Familiar. If he gets into situations where he wants to where he would have to stand still to avoid damage or something, we might just see him rush headlong into damage.
I think they're going to do a pretty great job of just letting him stand still, as well as being a source of regen. Nice use of
yeah. Again, dagger facing, gonna let you hit Fortissimo while he's in the ground. Kind of been doing a bit of an unnecessary dance around. Almost swaps the Obsidian Maw on the stage, but going to stick with the dagger of phasing. Interesting to note is the dagger of phasing can actually destroy those incoming electro balls from the mages. Really aggressive push here, but I mean he has the tankiness to handle it. Can phasing hit Fortissimo on stage? I believe it can.
Yeah, I believe it just pins him on the stage, so you can just wail on him there.
Yeah. We are seeing though that really super aggressive push from Echaen, just locking into tons of damage this floor, popping the shield to buffer a beat out there. Finishing his cookies here.
5 of a glass axe.
Another really nice trait about the dagger of phasing is it just instantly one-shots all of the skeletons that come spilling out of the skull. Makes the conduit a little bit less necessary. So, Deadringer fight here. Whoa! Walking right into a charge, gotta be careful. Letting Deadringer kind of get a diagonal poke on him too. So taking a lot of damage, and actually has to be pretty careful now, because he lost the potion and an extra heart on top of that. So, gonna double blood dig here. That does mean he doesn't have the health to cast shield. And he blood shields! He panic blood shields!
Doopliss has a single hit left on his glass armor, but it's not in a terribly great position.
Oh. And the worst part is Echaen had the resources to only, that he only had to Blood Dig once. He could have cast a Blood Shield going into Phase 2 and had Shield for most of the fight. He had both the resources and the time to do it. And then, yeah, White Skeleton, that's only going to do half a heart. He would have been fine. But just letting Panic get the better of him.
Would have been fine even if it was a Black Skeleton, because you have the Plate Mail of armor, so...
Oh, that hurts. And Doopliss going to take a 3-0 sweep here.
Oh, I felt the pain on that one.